Alright guys, Technical here again today, and there's a fair few things to talk about. I am recording this the night before this is actually going live, so I'm uploading this on the Saturday. Today is Friday because I'm out all of tomorrow, so hopefully this won't be too out of date. I thought this is content at least I can record in advance. CWL Anaheim pool play predictions. I'm sure you'll leave all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Some very interesting pools, not an obvious pool of death. I think it'll be up to you guys really to decide which is the one you guys are keeping your eye on most. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you do, subscribe if you are new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's hop right into the content then. So to start with, a couple of things to note on the Optic Gaming situation. As of recording this, there hasn't been too much coming out. This article from ESPN came out literally an hour ago from when I'm recording this, so there may be more stuff that comes out over the next few hours, which unfortunately I won't be able to cover until tomorrow's video, but that's just how it is, unfortunately. So this is what we have from ESPN. Immortals will return to the LCS, which, as we've talked about a lot of times, is what they've been looking to do after acquiring Optic Gaming and the Houston Outlaws parent company Infinite Esports and Entertainment for 35 to 45 million, which was a figure that we have heard for a little bit now. So it does seem like the transfer has come into effect. Jacob Wolf does say, of course, the following. So Immortals has won the bid, which will see them acquire Infinite Esports, and they will return to LCS for the 2020 season. If any of you guys follow League of Legends, of course, he does follow up with this, which is probably the more compelling issue. Saw there was reporting going around that Optic Gaming will be shut down. This is incorrect. Optic will still exist, read the piece, just no longer in LCS. I'll leave this linked down below if you guys are interested to check it out. It would make zero sense for Immortals to shut down Optic, which is what, of course, we've been saying for a long time. It really wouldn't make any sense for Immortals to shut down the Optic Gaming brand. Whether they'll sell it on, of course, now the thinking was that they might just sell on these other brands or these other teams to other organizations, and in a sense, Optic as a brand will kind of die out and fizzle out because the teams would go elsewhere. It doesn't seem like that's necessarily going to be the case. Maybe by the time this video is live, we'll have more information on it. I'll cover it as soon as I can, likely in tomorrow's video, which will be Sunday as of when you are watching this. So yeah, I thought I'd bring that to your guys' attention, and let's hop right into the juice. So firstly, these are the results from the division. So just to see how the pool was shaping up, of course, we have Division A. Optic Gaming went on a 7-0 run to finish out their split. Impressive from them. FaZe did very well as well. Gen.G Reciprocity round out the top 4. Then we have Midnight Evil Geniuses 6-12, even though much improved from their first little spell. Now with the Phantoms JCap team seems to be a lot better. UYU haven't looked great the last couple of weeks, and of course the shambles that is Luminosity Gaming did look slightly better in their final match against Optic Gaming, but of course Optic weren't really trying, and they had Ricky in the team, and as far as I understand and as far as I can presume, I do believe Ricky will still be in the team come Anaheim. Haven't had confirmation of that yet, but we haven't had anything from Luminosity stating the opposite. Doesn't seem like the team gets on with Gunless particularly well. Of course, some bridges seem to have been burnt there, and it's very likely from the way I see it that Ricky will still be playing in the team come Anaheim, which does not spell a good precedent for Luminosity, put it that way. So these are Division B results. E United with the nice 7-0 split, 100 Thieves with a 6-1. I saw someone say, I forget exactly where I saw it, so apologies if it was one of you watching this video. But yes, supposedly E United, Optic Gaming and 100 Thieves are 32-1 series count against anyone that isn't each other since the start of CWL London. So since the start of May, a month and a little bit ago, those three teams are 32-1 map count. The only loss was E United's loss to Envy at CWL London itself, I believe. In the pools, I think. So yes, since then, they've been pretty much flawless. And we know that what E United and 100 Thieves have said, Optic as well to some degree, I think, have been trying out some new maps they're not particularly comfortable with to try and expand their map pool. Crowder was talking about it in, on Hot Mic as well when they did that coaches one. So very interesting. I do think that right now Optic, E United, 100 Thieves are 100% the clear top 3. I think that FaZe may be in the number 4 spot, but right now I think we have 3 very clear favourites, which are pretty damn hard to choose between in my opinion, but we'll go on to that in a second. So Heretics holding out for 3rd place, Splice getting to 4th, Elevate, Envy, Denial, and Enigma 6 right at the bottom here at 5 and 13. So yeah, that's what the Wooden Spoon comment was from Rated yesterday, saying that they won the battle for the Wooden Spoon by, as in not getting the Wooden Spoon by not coming last. So yes, these are therefore the pools. Optic Gaming, Team Heretics, Evil Geniuses and Denial in Pool A, E United, Reciprocity, Elevate and UYU in Pool B. Quick thing to note here is that E United and Reciprocity always seem to be the teams that get the pool of death, get the very difficult pool. This time they're in the same pool, and well, with Elevate and UYU alongside them, it's hardly the pool of death in my opinion. Elevate have been rather good, to be honest, and UYU have been decent as well, but on the whole, I don't think either of those teams are particularly strong, especially maybe in a LAN environment. Elevate did get the better of Midnight at CWL London, but Midnight did have a substitute then, and they didn't win another series apart from that, even though they, and as we've seen, have been looking somewhat better in the Pro League at the very least. So, will be an interesting couple of series. Pool C is FaZe Clan, Splice, Midnight Esports, and Enigma 6, and Pool D, which is really, I guess, the heavy-hitting names, 100 Thieves, Gen G, Team Envy, and Luminosity Gaming. So, let's start from the top here with Pool A, and on the whole, if you guys want to comment down below what your Pool of Death is, or maybe what pool you're most excited to see. Pool of Death, of course, is always an interesting term. Does it mean the pool where it's hardest to make it out, or does it mean the team that's stacked with the best talent, you know? Because arguably there's a pool here, well, okay, you could look at Pool A, for example. Optic should be the clear number one here, but who exactly is going to get that second spot? It's rather difficult to say. Heretics and Evil Geniuses, I think, could go back and forth, and Denal are always capable of winning a series, or at least going Game 5 with any of those teams, I think. So, maybe not Optic Gaming if they're playing to their full capacity. But I think Pool A is very interesting, apart from the Optic Gaming thing, because I really think that right now, the top 4 teams, so as you can see, you know, seed 1 of each pool, I think should be the favourites. And I don't think it's particularly contestable right now that they are the favourites in every single pool. Optic and United and 100 Thieves especially, I think this is the first time in a long time, really, where we have very clear favourites. Not necessarily favourites for the entire tournament. I think it's very difficult to choose between any of those 3 teams. But I do think that those 3 teams have to be your 1, 2 and 3 in some order favourites for this event. If you have other favourites, let me know in the comment section below. I think FaZe Clan could be up there. Somewhat reminds me of, you know, 100 Thieves when they were starting to get good. They've shown a lot of promise. Their Search and Destroy has been pretty woeful. If they can get their Search and Destroy in gear, I think FaZe could definitely win the event. I think they're what that kind of A tier of teams that could win the event, but definitely not favourites. But yeah, I do think that these number 1 seeded teams should be the favourites in every single pool. So looking at Pool A here, outside of Optic Gaming, a pool, you know, of first place, almost, you know, it'd be very surprising if they didn't achieve that. Second and third and fourth are difficult to choose between. Evil Geniuses looked very good in their week, and yeah, Heretics have been going Game 5 with everyone. Denal has been there or thereabouts. But yeah, I don't know. On the face of it, I don't think Denal are going to achieve much. From what Rated was saying, the team vibes have not been particularly good. I cannot realistically predict them to come any higher than 4th, I don't think here. I do think that Evil Geniuses and Heretics should be better teams than them. Choosing the second place is going to be very difficult. I can very much see Heretics EG coming down to a Game 5. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to favour Evil Geniuses. They've got Cap on the team. And I don't know. Heretics have been pretty damn good in their Game 5s. But I think just in terms of clutch factor, I think Evil Geniuses will just about be there. Attach on the team, Exotic. Seems like they may have changed roles with Exotic going to a full-time SMG now. What Attach was talking about with Attach more on the Maddox. I kind of prefer that because Attach has tended to have been better with an assault rifle in his hands generally. So I think I'm going to favour Evil Geniuses with a couple of weeks to have practice over Heretics. I'm going to go Optic, EG, Heretics, Denal, but I think that could be honestly a pretty fun one to watch. But once again, I really do think that Optic are not going to have much competition for the first place in this one. So just to mention here, this is the bracket from CWL London. Not a lot of games actually between these pools were played in pools at London. This is the only matchup at London that happened between 2 teams in this pool. Optic beat Heretics 3-0 pretty comfortably on main stage in the winners semis. So going on to Pool B, we have E United, Reciprocity, Elevate, and UYU. I think E United will come top. I think Reciprocity will come second. I would be relatively surprised if it doesn't come just in this order. I think Reciprocity are a better team than Elevate, especially on the form they showed with that 4-0 final week, getting Dent in the team instead of Tommy. I think they should be better than Elevate on paper, and I think that Elevate have probably shown more promise than UYU. So that's the direction I would go there. These are the matchups that happened at London, of course. E United did take down Reciprocity 3-1 in losers bracket, where they made this incredible run all the way to the grand finals after losing in round 1 to 100 Thieves. And then yes, Reciprocity did take down UYU 3-1 as well. So I imagine it will go a similar way. We haven't seen anything from Elevate because they lost to LG in the very first round rounds here in a 3-2 fashion. I think that was like a game 5 round 11 or something ridiculous. But yeah, so of course very interesting. I do think this will go by seeding. I don't think this is a particularly exciting pool, but I can see UYU and Elevate maybe causing an upset over Rec, or one of these teams beating each other, because I think they could be good on their day. I think there's a lot of great talent, of course, in the Pro League right now, but on current form, it should be a clear 1-2. So going on to Pool C, I think once again it should be a clear 1-2. I think FaZe are better than Splice, but we'll just have to see, because none of these matches in this pool have been played before the entire, well, not the entire season, but they haven't been played in pool play at London or anything like that. So we haven't seen these guys play against each other really in a long time. And yes, I do think FaZe should be favourites, especially how they were playing. Splice with Nolson do seem to be better. I don't think they're quite championship contenders yet, but we'll just have to see. They've got about a week or so still to practice. I think they will be a better team than Midnight or Enigma 6, but I'm quite excited to see how this will turn out down here at the bottom, because Midnight have showed a few good things in their new squad with this team, of course. Parasite, Lacefield, Blaz, you know, they've got a lot of talent on this team. Llama God's in there as well, and Saints to round out the roster. So a lot of talent on this team. They have showed some great things in Search and Destroy at times, like really aggressive play in Search has caught a lot of teams off guard. Maybe that won't work so well nowadays, but and Enigma 6 have shown some good things as well, taking a lot of solid teams to game 5. They have a lot of, you know, good players on their team. Kismet's capable of going off at any time. Frosty, of course. Jet Li is a very clutch player. General, sometimes he'll take over a game with an ICR and just pop 2-piece after 2-piece after 2-piece. And GodRx, I think, is very talented as well, but hasn't really shown it quite yet on this squad. So I think Midnight and Enigma 6 are both in a similar position where they didn't really have a lot of team chemistry from what I can understand, but they have a fair bit of firepower. So I don't think they will take down FaZe or Splice, but I definitely think it's a possibility. I wouldn't rule this one out completely as yet, but I do think, you know, Splice did beat Midnight, I think, in the pool at, I think it was Fort Worth, actually, they were in the pool with Midnight. So they got the better of them there. I think it'll happen again. I'm going to go for a 1-2-3-4 as seeded right here. I think that Enigma 6 could get an upset over Midnight. Maybe it's not even an upset, you guys would consider it, but yeah, difficult to say. I think this one could be enjoyable. It could have a couple of game 5s in it. Enigma 6 and Midnight quite like to, especially win Search and Destroys. If they can win their searches, which Midnight and E6 have been relatively good at doing, then the series could go the distance here, especially against FaZe. You know, if their Search and Destroy still isn't up to par, then they're going to have to rely on winning all their respawns to avoid going to a game 5. So I'd keep your eyes open for this one. I do definitely think the FaZe are a better team than all these guys, but if their Search and Destroy continues to be lackluster, then we could get some enjoyable series. If FaZe's S&D is really, really good, then they are championship contenders. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So going on to Pool D here, we have 100 Thieves, Genji, Team Envious, and Luminosity. So yes, 100 Thieves, in my opinion, clear favourites. In my opinion, I'd probably have them as the best team in the game right now still. Tough to say, of course. They did have that 3-0 loss to E-United in the league, and we don't know how good Optic are really against E-United's 100 Thieves. They looked obviously stellar in their pool this week. But 100 Thieves did lose less maps than E-United over the course of their Division B matches. So even though they did get 3-0'd by E-United, 100 Thieves, when they did win series, they didn't go to Game 5s like E-United did. But then again, maybe going Game 5 will be good for E-United because they've got more chance to practice on different maps while maintaining that 7-0 split. So yes, I know that on the main stage, when it really mattered, 100 Thieves took down E-United, no problem. They took them down in Winners Round 1 at London and again in the Grand Finals. So I think that when it really comes down to it, I do think 100 Thieves are the better team. Also crucial to mention here that it will be the same as at London, as far as I understand it, that Pool A will play Pool C, Pool B will play Pool D at the start of the winners bracket, so whoever wins Pool A will play second in Pool D. So by seeding it will be Optic Spice, Heretics FaZe, and then in Pool B it would be E-United, Genji, 100 Thieves, Reciprocity if it goes by seeding. But if we get one upset here between maybe Reciprocity beat EU or maybe one of these teams beats 100 Thieves, then we could get an E-United 100 Thieves match in the very first round, and we could get another Optic versus FaZe Clan match in the very first round, just like we did at CWL London. Could be very much a repeat performance of CWL London if it does go down that route. So the rest of this pool, I think a lot of eyes are turning towards this pool. I'm not overly impressed with it right now. Genji had a really bad finish to the split, like they were getting reverse swept all over the place, getting crushed a lot of the time. I do think they'll be better. Their respawn on the whole has been very good. Their Search and Destroy hasn't been as strong as it was with Spacely in the team, but of course I think I would put that down more just to other teams learning Search and Destroy better. It's not like if they'd have kept Spacey, they'd have stayed undefeated in Search or anything like that, but definitely they were in a big rut in that second half of the the Pro League, and we'll just have to see whether they've improved. Whether they'll be better than Envy or Luminosity is interesting. I don't think LG are going to do anything, to be honest. I don't think LG will have enough to beat Genji or 100 Thieves. Honestly, I can see them beat an Envy on their day. Let's just have a look at this real quick. So these are the matchups from Pool D that happened at London. So 100 Thieves beat Genji, of course, 3-2 in the winners semis, where it was a reverse sweep, in fact. And Envy also knocked out LG in a 3-2 fashion on their way to a top 4 placing, which is pretty damn good for Envy. But they haven't shown anything kind of near that level since then in the Pro League. Their search and destroy has been completely woeful. And yes, I honestly think this is relatively likely to go by seeding. Given Luminosity probably won't have Gunless, I really think that they've only probably got one consistent player on the team in Formal. Slacked, I'll give him his credit, he's pretty damn good as well, but John has not been good, Classic has not been good, and Ricky, what can you expect of him on the main ICR? So I really don't think LG are going to do much at all, so I think it's really a 3-horse race to get out of the pool. I think 100 Thieves will come top 2, so I think it's between that Genji and Envy matchup for second place. Be interesting, because Envy have not been good by any means as of late, neither have Genji though, so I'm going to favour Envy for some reason, just because I remember last year that they had that horrible S&D run leading up to Seattle, and then they fixed their search and they were really good and they came second at Seattle. So I'm going to go with history and say that Envy, they were on Evil Geniuses at the time with Bevels as coach. It was Aches' team. But so, okay, slightly different scenario with the current team they have, but I'm going to go with that historical theory that Envy are going to turn it around. Their search is going to improve for this event and they're going to get out of the pools and then probably still not do particularly well, but that's going to be my theory. So okay, Pool A, I'm going Optic EG. Pool B, E United Rec. Pool C, FaZe Splice. And Pool D, 100 Thieves. Team Envy is what I'm going to go for. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your thoughts down below. What are your predictions for the pools? And which is your pool of death? Which one are you most looking forward to? I'm sure you'll leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you are new. As always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching as always. And I will see you next time.